And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you when the motorcycles are roaming down the streets and I can hear everything. And now that the house is emptied, well, yes. Anyway, good morning to everyone. Hope you are all enjoying this midday, this midweek. It is hump day. It is hump day, and how are you all doing? I see Hannah is in the building. She's the first person in the building. She has the gold. What's going on? She says, good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. And we got Gwendolyn, GR Houston Jack says, good morning. And we have the great Adrian Florence in the building. Morning sunshines, he says. And hello, everyone. We are few and mighty. Today's a vacation. This is a vacation week, so it's a little light. Even though we did have a good number of people here yesterday, but today's going to be our regular water cooler Wednesday. So we'll just be hanging out, just chatting away. There's some headlines in the news. We'll talk about that. Anything that's on your mind, let me know. And you can put it in the chat, and we can just talk about it. It's that kind of day. I really have no plans. Didn't put any schedule together. Did not put any structure to this gathering today. And Chris says, good. She says, morning. Hey, Chris. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you guys all that participated in raising money for our students. We are, I do believe, at $500 of the raising. Not as much as we did last year. Last year we did $1,500. But this year, I understand a lot of people are stressed, financially stressed. And but something is better than nothing. So I'll be able to send that over to them as soon as possible. I will have it up until Friday, which so you'll have that if anyone wants to participate in raising money for our wonderful students. And I'll put that on the screen. It's the beauty of putting things on the screen. I think I put it in here. There we go. GoFundMe for helping students. GoFundMe. Your donation will help students pay for their cap and gown, yearbook, senior dues, and senior prom. So this will be ending on Friday. I knew we had an extra week, and so we'll send that in to also help with those wonderful students. So there you have it. And what else is going on? So how are you guys doing? What's on your mind today? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to share? I see also in the building is our wonderful Elise. And we had a great conversation yesterday. And so we always have a great conversation when she reaches out and we talk. Kimmy Kim is in the building. And she says, hi, everyone. And okay, there we are. We are all here. And sinus is a little off today, so forgive me if I sound more nasally than I usually am. And but yeah, she says, good morning, Hannah. Hannah, you are loved. Where's your chat overlay? Oh, thank you. Let me get that on the board. Let me get that screening there. I always forget that I have that. So it didn't pop up on the screen, Gwendolyn. Is it working today? Is StreamYard working? Oh, it says beta and it says show comments and it's not showing. So I don't know what's going on with the StreamYard. Maybe it is beta, so it is they're learning how to use it or how to put it on the screen for us. Did you guys see that these two criminal? God, I hate it. These television hosts that again got pardoned by the orange guy. Oh, there it is. It just popped up. I see it. Adrian said beta is always sus. Yeah, there it is. It popped up. It finally popped up on the screen. And she said, I see the form for it on the screen. Okay, yep, there it is. Okay, it's there. I love it. I love having it there. It's really nice. It's a nice touch to the screen. And she says, Adrian Florence, it is a tad sus at times. Yeah, I mean, it's beta, right? They're testing. So they're getting it. They're perfecting it. and they're using us to perfect it. And so there is what is this did anyone know about these two hosts that were brought up on charges for embezzlement and a bunch of other things, other charges, and one was supposed to serve 17 years in prison, and the other one was supposed to serve, I think, 20. The husband and wife team, and of course they're criminals, and so guess what? They got a pardon. Oh, I mean, when you put a criminal in charge, man, it's just, it leaves me speechless. Oh, there it is. Thank you, G. She says, I believe the Chrisleys are in a lavender marriage. A lavender marriage. But yeah, so they're gonna get their pardon. It's amazing that people that have been incarcerated and that may have doubt to their sentences, no pardon for those people. The hardcore criminals, the ones that have been convicted criminals, this person committed the crime, it's been proven they committed the crime. This is the person that pardons them all. The real criminals. The criminal pardoning the criminals. This is where we are. This is where we are, America. This is where we are. And Kimmy says, the family campaign for him. Oh, I tell you. It's always the criminals. Kelly A says, good morning, everyone. And Adrian says, if that dude is in the closet, the door has a clear window. Oh, goodness gracious. That's a good phrasing there, Adrian. That's a good phrasing. She says, any person with integrity and character can see what's happening. Exactly. Any of us can see it. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's just, man, I just wish this chapter could just end. It feels like a movie that is a bad movie. Someone has you strapped in the seat and you can't get out of the theater. That's how I feel. Strapped in the seats. Speaking of theater, has anyone seen Mission Impossible yet? Has anyone seen Mission Impossible? I know in New York City, it was packed. I could not get to there was a available IMAX screening today. I should say screening, but several shows in the IMAX theater that I like to go to is playing there, and I would love to go see it. So soon to come. I can't wait to see Mission Impossible on IMAX. But have any of you seen it, and did you like it? How did you respond to the movie? Or how have you responded to the movie? And so anyway, just wanted to know. Inquiring minds would like to know. And let me see here. I am also putting a link inside the QR code. So if anyone wants to join me, they can by scanning the QR code. Okay, there you have it. That is set up for you as well. Okay. Let's see, Charlene. I see Charlene. Yes, we got Charlene in the house. And I see the love going between you guys. The daughter is ultra mega, says Charlene. Yeah, she's the one that I guess petitioned, and then he reached out to her yesterday and said, your mama and daddy are coming home. But there is a process. You can't just pardon people. There's a whole pardon process. So it has to be reviewed. Kelly said, is laughing. I am Miss Reese is in the building. Good morning. She says, RLP family. So good to see you. And G says, he pardoned that sheriff who was selling badges. Yes, he did. Come on now. If you're a criminal, just commit the crime and Trump will pardon you. At least if you're in that circle. If you've done something for him. Adrian, you haven't seen it yet? Ooh, you know what that means? Maybe. if I'm coming to stay with you next week, which may be possible, they may be painting next week. So I may be on your doorstep. And if so, we can do the IMAX. And that would be great because I would love to see. You got to see Mission Impossible with someone that loves Mission Impossible. So this weekend, speaking of Mission Impossible, also, I ended up, as I was clearing out the house and fixing up stuff, I went from the very first Mission Impossible to the number 7, the last one before this one that just came out. I spent the whole weekend looking at Mission Impossible just to catch up. You know, you need to be enlightened on things that you may have missed in the other movies presentations. So I did that this weekend. It was a Mission Impossible weekend. Kimmy says not yet. G says not yet. Okay. Elise says he pardoned the man who stole from his staff at the nursing home after his mother sent $1 million to his campaign. Yeah, he is a grifter. He is the king, and he is the king of grifting. Pardonings. A criminal in the White House. I cannot believe it. Never thought I would see the day. Here says, Grand Rising Ron and everyone. Nice to see you guys. And if you're in the building, make sure you hit the like so that the algorithms know that we are here. The algorithms will know we are in the building on these streaming streets. GR says, I still have Mission Impossible on VHS. I have it on DVD too. Oh, man. Kimmy Kim. One of my favorite movie series. It is one of the best. It was one of the best things Tom Cruise ever did was to buy the rights to Mission Impossible and then create the series. That was a brilliant idea. It's hard to believe it's been technically 25 years. 25 years. The first one came out in 2000. Huh. Unbelievable. Whoa! Chris Edwards is in the building, y'all. He says, good morning, Touch Base Daily family. Just jumping in and saying hello. So good to see you, Chris. How's the move going? How is that move going? Can't wait to have you back. And G says, and Tom be running. That man is gonna run in a Mission Impossible movie. He runs with the high kick. My buddy was here at the house. He goes, man, what kind of run is that? I said, Tom Cruise knows how to run with the high step. He runs with the high step, with the legs going up and just up into your chest. Anyway, he runs. He can run. The running man. Chris Edwards says, it's been a process. I could only imagine, Chris. You see all of this? It has been a process. But look, my house is almost empty. Half of it is gone. And you can hear the echo in my house. So there's no more curtains on the windows. There's no more fabrics on the wall. Everything is echoing. Anyway. Oh, Adrian, if you happen to be coming to Brooklyn at some point, there are some items here waiting for you. I know. If you happen to come to Brooklyn. If you happen. Hint. And let's see here. Chris Edwards says, same here. The walls, when you have nothing on the walls, your house makes an echo sound. And I'm not used to it. It was like this when I first moved in. Oh, excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes. So stop by. I have some items for you. One more thing for your backyard, for your deck. You might want this after early afternoon. Excellent, because I will be back home. Oh, speaking of tomorrow, I will not be here. Tomorrow, where will I be? Where will I be? And I'm going to try to broadcast. Well, let me just rephrase that. I won't be here from the studio doing the Touch Base Daily. However, I was invited by the TikTok people to, since I am an ambassador to the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. And so we were invited, myself and a couple of folks at the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce, we were invited to an amazing workshop that's going on tomorrow. It's called a TikTok festivity event and happening here in New York City. And I will be there tomorrow at this time tomorrow. And it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning, ends at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So Adrian, I will try to be back home by 1:30, 2 o'clock. So, if not, I may have to leave early. You let me know. You let me know your schedule. I don't want to keep you here in Brooklyn longer than you have to. But I will be at the TikTok festival tomorrow, and I am going to try to do a live broadcast. I won't be talking, but I'll be sharing. Okay. So for all those that are interested in TikTok, they're going to have a bunch of their, I do believe the C-suite and some of their staffing and teams are going to be there. And I will be a part of the TikTok event tomorrow. And so hopefully I'll be able to share that with you all from the actual place. But that would be a treat if I can. If not, I won't see it in it. I'll pop on briefly because I'm sure we'll have a break in between. But I'll definitely share. I'm going to try to share it with you guys because I think it's going to be a great event tomorrow. And they really reached out to me and said, "Hey, Ron, you better be there." so I'll be there tomorrow at the TikTok festivities here in New York City, and that should be a lot of fun. So that's why I'll be tomorrow, and I'm not photographing. I will be attending. Elise says that should be interesting. It should be. For those that know, I've been trying to tip my toe into the TikTok world. I find TikTok to be there's a different type of person in TikTok. So without insulting the folks at TikTok, I find that the folks in TikTok, the attention span is very small, very short. So, and I haven't learned how to navigate TikTok. So I'm going to definitely learn something tomorrow at this festive conference that they're having. So I'm hoping to learn because I don't know how to do TikTok and I would like to know how to do it better. And on these, online streaming streets. Bryson's in the building. Bryson says, "What's up, Chris? What's up, Chris? What's up?" He says. And also, I forgot to say this about Bryson, saying, "What's up, Ron? What's up, RP fam? What's up, everybody? Hope everyone enjoyed their Memorial Day weekend." Okay. So, like I said, I have nothing to talk about. What do you want to talk about? If you don't give us something to talk about, we ain't got nothing to talk about. But that was one thing I wanted to talk about. It. But I always have something to talk about. Y'all know. Those that know me know I always have something to talk about. So if you don't have something to talk about, this is your platform today. I'm just like, whatever you want to talk about. I see here. Yeah, G says try TikTok, didn't like it. She says, "Ron, you are not on your job, sir." I am not today. Today, you know what it is? My brain is I am emotionally, I should say mentally, not emotionally, mentally drained. Adrian loves it. TikTok is amazing, he says. Maybe you have to school me on it, Adrian. I need to figure out how to navigate it. And, but yeah, I am exhausted mentally. I have been in this house for 6 days, 7 days now, tearing my apartment apart. and it has been, if there's anything, I know Chris is going through that right now where he's moving into his new apartment, and it takes you down all this memory lane. You go down, you're going through all the books in your library, and you're looking at the books and you're like, what? Oh, when did I buy this book? And for those that are like me, I write in all of my books. So if I have a book that's fascinating to me, I highlight it. If you saw, I have a jar down here on the floor. I have all these highlighters. I go through my books, and I really make a mess of things with my books. And but every book has a memory because I bought the book for a particular reason. So I was sharing with Elise yesterday. I was going through some books, and I've given away already about 75 books out of my library. And I came across my favorite books, my pride and joy books. One is called Black America. The other one is called the Civil Rights Chronicles. And the other one is called Freedom. And another one called The Black New Yorker. And I said to Elise, I said, I could not let these books go away. And I said, I think these are books that Adrian's going to inherit. These are going to be Adrian's books so that he can pass it down to his sons. And I said, these are books that cannot, because they're full of Black American history with such accuracy. I could not part ways with them. They're on the shelf, and then I struggled. Should I keep them on the shelf when someone is looking at the house? And that also blew my mind. That I was like, oh my gosh, if I'm showing the house, showing the apartment, my mind went to, is my Black history books on my shelf going to impact the selling of my apartment? And it was a sobering moment. I had a moment. I'm standing in front of my library, and I said, my Black books, my books on Black history could affect the sale of my apartment, as in, the numbers and all that stuff. And it was an emotional, I had a moment of, my heart was like, I was broken for a moment. And I said, and these 4 books, they're right there. They're on the shelf right now, unless my broker tells me that I need to move them. And I said, and then I realized how important those books were to me, and that Adrian will inherit them. They will be Adrian's books. Anyway, speaking of Adrian, I hear him coming up on the doorstep. I hear some footsteps, and he got big feet, so I know his feet. And I know his feet, but I hear he's at the door. He's at the doorstep. I knew I heard his feet. I knew I heard it. Coming. Right, now you're here.
Oh, yo, that level of disrespect is crazy. Oh, snap. Oh,
Hello,
man.
Sonny boy. What's going on?
What up, though? Oh, man. Yeah.
But isn't that wild that I had to think about those books like that?
It's so funny that you mentioned those books, man. It's because when I was in the house, I was looking at those books like, what you finna do with those? I probably still have a number of books that I've procured from your library.
Yes.
It had me thinking, man, that we had some of my boys, my friends, we did during COVID, we had our own little men's book club where we were reading some books, and then I would be like on my deck. It was Saturday morning. Was the time, so we had to read. We had a book, like we read The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, which was an incredible book. So we would just have Saturday mornings, whatever chapters we agreed to during that week, we'd be like, all right, this is what we're going to read. And then we would talk about it and have a conversation. And it was just such an incredible time. So anyway, we need to do that too. We need to get back to like just having these book clubs, because what it does is it ensures that you are reading.
Yes.
One of the things that, because I can make 1,000 excuses as to why I don't have time like to read, and all he's saying is you enjoy being ignorant, and it's just not like, just reading is in and of itself empowering, and so I look forward to having some of your books to thumb through.
Well, the thought was also, and I was telling Elise yesterday, we had a conversation, a little powwow yesterday, and I said also, as I was going through my books, certain books were so important to me that I had to hold on to, but also I began to think about where we are in history, that some of these books may be banned from our own home libraries, or we may not even have the internet to, most of the time we say, oh, we can go research that on the internet. We can easily get that information on the internet. We can go to Google. We can go to all these different resources online. We can go to, Audibles and listen to a book. We can do all those things. But there could come a time that these books may not be available unless they are in your private collection in your home. And I said, these are books that Adrian needs to pass down to his sons, and then his sons can pass them down to their kids. I said, because the history, these 3 books contain so much African-American history. And I was like, oh no, I can't give these away. But so I'm mentally going through all of this moving process has been draining emotionally and mentally, but definitely mentally draining, because my brain is consciously thinking of the past and how, where we are going and all that stuff.
Okay, so you're going through a lot of emotional, you're pouring out a lot emotionally and mentally. So what are you doing to pour back into yourself so that you're not getting into a state of like even sadness? Because the reality is that you've been in that this apartment, and it's your home, and you've been there for decades,
30 years,
and so there's, to a certain extent, there's like a passing.
Yeah,
and I think that you're gonna have to give yourself room to mourn it, to celebrate it, and then to move on. So what are you doing to like keep yourself centered and keep yourself like finding the continuous joy in your life, that this doesn't become a sadness?
Good question. I did think about that. I said when I go to stay with Adrian,
which is the joy of your. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Okay. And it's not me. It's not Nancy. It's me. All right. You're gonna tell everybody on every one of these TBDs that you get on. Oh my God, I love Nancy. No, it's me that you're looking forward to.
Sorry, I love my son. I love you to pieces. I love you beyond words. And but I did, the moment did cross my mind several times. I can't even multiple times. I said, I think when I'm sitting at Adrian's house, I may be on the porch, I may be somewhere in that house, and I may have a moment. And I thought about it and I said, I might have a moment that, because you know me, I'm analytical and I'm I'm cerebral as they say. And I said, I'm going to have a couple of days that are going to be moments when this is all behind me. However, I did sign up yesterday for online therapy, so that way I got my psychologist or a therapist, whatever her name is, and so that starts in 2 weeks, and so she and I will be having conversations just to kind of like air my head out. So so I did sign up for that, with some good therapy, and to be able to just get my thoughts clear of what's going on in this stage of my life. And but it's it's a new place. I mean, I'm gonna have a therapist that's gonna help me walk through it. I'm sure you and I will have thousands of conversations because I'll be right there at the house. And for those that don't know, Adrian and I have had one of the amazing blessings of being in the father role as a young person, and being able to be a father to someone that especially when my father wasn't there. And so I had to learn. I mean, obviously I have my adopted dad that was there for me, but even in that, the ability to be a good father is, I would think, and Adrian, you could correct me if I'm wrong, is to simply be a good listener and a good supporter. I don't think anyone has instructions, because every young person is so different. You know, Adrian has 2 boys, and they're 2 different people. They're totally different, and so you can never say, because I had my father or I didn't have my father, is going to. I mean, it does have an impact on how you are as a father, but it definitely allows you. Lisa allowed me to be more sensitive in not having one than probably if I had one. So, but not having one made me more sensitive to what Adrian needed, or if he had questions, I would try to be there. But what do you say about that?
Yeah, no, I think that's good. Like for me, having not grown up with a biological father, having you step up to the plate and be just a presence, right? And it's almost like a safety, a safety place, and a place where it's like I can. Because one of the things that you were always incredible about was allowing me to be me, which was, and the me being me was what other people were like, yeah, this kid is not going to be going anywhere. Ron, you're wasting your time.
Yes, they used to tell me that, right? They definitely said that.
And listen, I take pleasure in the fact that I still get to be myself. And I even have this is one young lady at church, and she's like, have you always, Nancy will tell you, people keep saying like, how do you deal with him? She's like, my whole forever.
Yes.
Because I'm like, yo, I don't feel like you have to be anything but who God created you to be.
Yes.
I'm not out here, running rampant, but there was some times where I was just, I don't feel like I have to have a specific type of filter at times. And so I say what I feel, and I say what's on my mind, what's on my heart. And I feel like if you can't receive it, that's a you problem, not a me problem. And you were always willing to just hear me out. You would laugh at me sometimes, be like, okay, you're getting a little bit, beside yourself. But just having some place where you know that you have someone that actually sincerely cares and is not in it for anything other than to be present for you was important for me. And a number of different lessons that I learned from you was what helped me to pass on and to be a better father. Like I'm exponentially a greater man than I could have ever been because I had you, right? And because of you, my sons are exponentially even more, like the past, the trickle down effect of your influence is going to be seen, because now of what you've done through me and in my life, I've been able to pass that on to my boys who are now men and adults. And I've been able to be something to them that they can now be the kind of men in this society that they ought to be. And that's a direct lineage of you, right? And that's one of those things is biblical. It's like this person begat this person, who begat this, who begat that, and it's all because they want to trace back to where the origination was. And for me, the line starts with you and your influence over my life, and the impact that you've had has had this impact in others. And because of that, the impact that I have listen, I preached a sermon on Sunday.
I know, I got it, and
so,
I saw it.
All these people have heard those words because of something that God was able to use through me, that I wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for you. Right? So a lot of people don't necessarily, they'll know me, they'll know my face, but they don't necessarily know how I got here and the influence that you've had to allow me to be who I am and to be authentically me, and let God use me and love me and then pass that on to my children, right? So let's be absolutely 100,000% clear. You're an incredible human being who's had an incredible influence on a number of people. I get to tell one story, but I could talk to my brothers and other folks that we grew up together, that you have influenced. Shoot, when we were sitting in your living room and you were showing pictures of all those different youth meetings, those are all lives that you've touched in unique ways. And it's unique because they're all different individuals.
Yeah.
But you've been able to impart yourself and pour of yourself into them, which goes back to my question, which is why, you pour out all the time. You're pouring into this, everybody in the chat, you're pouring into them. So we want to make sure that you're pouring back into yourself, so that you selfishly, so we can keep on pouring into us.
Well, I'm definitely doing a couple of things. One is, once I settle in, I am definitely taking, I have a couple of projects I'll be doing while I'm in the region, because being at your house, I'll still be able to do my projects here in New York City and do my obligations to the Manhattan Chamber and all the different entities that I'm a part of and that I pour into. But in January, as I move towards the next year, I definitely will be more on the road and more traveling from different countries, if we're allowed to be. Again, my whole mindset is really a day by day, because we don't even, I say I could travel, go to Africa, go to Spain, and maybe I can't get back home. These are the things I have never had to think about before. Yeah. I used to just be able to get on a plane and go. I never ever thought that I may go to another country, and will I be able to get back into my own country? So these are thoughts, but definitely health. So, I got my number to my neighbor, who I gave some plants to 2 days ago. She came up and gave me her masseuse number, who is an amazing masseuse. So I hear. So as soon as this is all done, I am going to spend days in the massage clinic over here in Clinton Hill. And so I'll be doing that. But also it's going to be very therapeutic to be with you. And whenever we're together, we get to laugh, we get to have so much fun, and we talk about so many things. And that's what I'm going to really enjoy, because for many years, we've all been, I've been doing my thing, you've been doing your thing, you've been working, you've been raising your boys, and we interact and we do our thing and we go on the phone, but I have not lived in a space with you since I first moved here. You came to stay with me.
Oh, yes.
So
we'll have some interesting stories, I'm sure.
Yeah, and for those that know, it was Adrian that helped me pick out this apartment. It was his approval. We went. I got an ad in the paper, and it said this apartment, blah 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 blah. And I was looking for it at the time. I was engaged.
Let's not go there. We ain't gonna talk about that heifer.
And I took Adrian with me to check out this apartment. And he was like, "Yo, Pop, this is nice. This is really nice." Obviously the skyline view. It was really it's a beautiful apartment, and but he was there from the very beginning. We from the brownstone when he used to hang out at the house, and he would be downstairs in the den, and I would come downstairs early in the morning and fold him inside the the couch.
Nah, yo, you know what you have? You remember, I just had a flashback. So, y'all, first of all, we're talking about a brownstone right there, like in Fort Greene, down the block from Biggie. You had this chair. It was like a soft, cushiony kind of chair, but like the back folded, and then it unfolded into half, and it was almost like a mini twin bed. No, that thing was one of the most. It was weird, but it was so comfortable. And then I'm getting to my little personal life. So after I had gotten like into some beef with Mom Dukes, and Mom Dukes was like, "Oh, so you think you've grown?" And I was like, "Oh, I know I'm grown." And she was like, "Well, you can go find out on your own." And I was like, "I'm gonna go do that." And boom. And I left forcibly.
He left his mama's house and
like a room. I was renting a room right down on like Pacific and Underhill or something like that in Brooklyn. And that was my bed for a while. Man,
that's right. That little blue bed was his bed.
No, it held me down. It held me down.
When he went to his new apartment, and his mother was not happy with me helping him.
That didn't go over well.
She did not. She was not happy. She was like, "Ron, what are you doing?"
Because let's keep it real. As parents, you're like, you know what? You think you got all of this. Go ahead, go see what life is like. And hopefully the expectation from my mom was that I would fall on my face and have to come humbly back home like the prodigal son did.
He was never coming back home.
I wasn't eating with no pigs. Your Bible. That wasn't me. I didn't go out and just squander off for whatever little money I had. But it's funny because how life circles back. My son, this was like a couple of years after COVID, and he had some little side job. I don't know what. It was
Donovan, right?
Donovan. He was like, "Yo, Pops, I feel like I need to experience life on my own. I'm like, but you're gonna just struggle." He was like, "Yeah, but that's part of it. Like I heard your story and how you grew out of the struggle." And I'm like, "Negro, so dumb." So this kid goes and moves out of my, mind you. I didn't grow up with the privilege he has. He has his own. His bedroom has a bathroom in the bedroom because in my house it's technically what was supposed to be the master bedroom before we expanded. He goes and lives with two of his boys, pays $1,000 a month.
Oh my goodness!
Did I ever see $1 when he was living here? $1. I didn't even charge him rent. He goes and he's paying $1,000 a month, and he shares a bathroom with one of his other boys. And I'm like, so you're gonna pay to downgrade just for the sake of independence? So you don't like me asking why you're showing up at my house at 1 o'clock in the morning and I put the alarm on? Go do you, son. But that kids. Then he found out that it was like there was like a little domestic violence happening with one of the roommates and this girl that he got in the middle of, and there was all this drama. And I'm like, son, in the 19 years that you've been living under my roof, have you ever had any of that drama? None. So he came. Nancy was like, so you know, when we let you back in, I was like, oh, we need to have an interview to figure out if you're. we need an interview to see if you're capable of being a tenant in my home, because you were happy to pay $1,000, right? So let's talk about. And there'll be some new rules.
There's some
easy
new rules.
Before, but you're coming back. We got new rules for you, son. You're gonna learn today. And he did, and then he went to the airport. So I mean, this is what happens.
But you know what? It's so interesting. I mentioned this to someone, how Donovan is so much alike. He's so much like you in so many ways. And I remember when Adrian left the house and his mother was, I told his mother, I said, look, if he's if at least if I can be there, I could be a bridge. I can be the bridge to help to kind of like mediate the situation. But if I don't help him in some way, that means now you don't have a connection with him and I don't have a connection with him, and now he's totally on his own. I said, we gotta have to work together. We're gonna have to work this thing out.
Just so you can at
his
least
mother and I was, and you know,
that was necessary, especially. Like I remember that one breakup with that girl. Oh, remember that crazy one? Let's just. What is it? Anyway, all I know is I needed to come to you and talk. And I came. And I remember how I had to be all hat in hands. I know I've been ignoring you for a while because you ignore people when you don't want accountability.
Before you go there, let me lay the groundwork. Let me lay the foundation here. So, you know, first of all, you know, he has an amazing wife, Nancy, who I love. She's my pride and joy. I love her to pieces. So she breaks up with him. He's heartbroken.
No. Hold on. If you're gonna say,
wait, not break up. You guys had a separation. How about that?
I broke up with her. I just wanted to be clear to the chat.
Wait. She went to school, right? She was going to school, and I thought you guys agreed to separate.
Agreed? No. Let me tell the story if you're gonna tell it. My testimony.
Oh, I did not know the story. Okay,
and I need Lisa to pay attention because that's my cousin. I need her to hear my story clear. There's a slight deviation or interpretation of the story from Nancy's perspective, but this is freshman to sophomore year of college. She was going to Fordham.
Yes.
And when I went, I would visit all the time. I would cook her and her sweet maid's dinner.
Oh my goodness,
how often I've done it, but I did. Anyway, one of the roommates asked me, they were like, oh, so, you know, how are you so cool with the fact that she's still talking to her ex? I was like, come again? She's talking to who? Like, yeah.
I knew the ex was in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, he would come in and picking her up, and they would drive off, and I was like, so I had a conversation with Nancy. I was like, listen, I am a one-woman man, and I can only be with a one-man woman. So as much as it hurts me, we're gonna have to break up. So I broke up with her in the lobby of Fordham, right there on whatever that is, 58th Street.
I didn't know that part of the story.
And I went home and I cried.
He cried.
Because, and that's what I tell people all the time, it wasn't until I broke up with her that I realized that I was in love with her. And it was the pain of the loss of having to break up with somebody that I now know that I'm in love with. That I went to work the next day and my boss was like, you know, Rose, she was like, you are useless to me. Just go
home. And he went back home to that little
when I say she cussed me out because I was beat, she's like, what kind of punk? Get your behind. You're useless. Go home. But that's also a story that we tell because a breakup isn't necessarily a final thing, because we would, a couple of years later get back together. And once we got back together, I was like, I ain't letting her go. I'm gonna snatch this thing up, lock it down. We got married like next year. But anyway, now I just needed that. So there's the gap of about 1.5 years to 2 years that we were.
The gap of hell. That was the gap of hell. It was the gap of hell, son boy. Sonny boy, it was because what happened was also one thing about when you are when you are raising, and all you parents out there know,
I'll just chat with him. I mean,
when you are, and then you don't hear from them, they don't call, they're not reaching out, you don't know what's going on. And I knew that this girl, this situation was not a good thing. It was not healthy. It was not good. And it was worrisome. It had every label on it. It was, and so for a year almost, Adrian was like doing, even though we worked in the same workspace, but then I had gone to college. I left the exchange and then went back to college and finished up school. And so did not know where this Negro was. And never called. And so, but every time the phone would ring, I would think it's him. I would think it's him. You know, that's that impulse. You're used to having this conversation back and forth. And then finally his light bulb went on after being lost in the wilderness. And then next thing you know, I get a phone call and he's standing at the booth right across the street. And he said, "Pop, I'm so sorry."
oh, so dramatic.
"Pop, I'm so sorry."
It was also raining slightly. I mean, come on. We have to add the drama. There was music playing in the background. Yes, but again, like I said, when you know you're in a place that you're not supposed to be in, I'm not talking like physically, but just in a mental, emotional state, and you are also, in addition, physically where you're not supposed to be and where you don't belong, you don't want to talk to people that you know will give you the correction that you need, because there's accountability that you're running away from. And so that was what it was. And but that's how God works at times, where it's like, I'm going to make sure you go through this and you struggle and you get to the point where you're so humbled that you have no choice but to return. And for me, it wasn't even about accountability that I needed from you. It was that I was at a low place and I needed to be built back up. And I knew that I'd be able to find that with you. So the history of I don't hear you.
Sorry, my mic cut off. It's interesting because so many people have said, we love when you and Adrian have conversation. People love when you and I have conversation. They love when Gwendolyn and I have conversation. So, but this is, I mean, again, people don't understand the importance of unconditional love. You have to love people through stuff. Even though they may go their own way, it's the wrong way, it's the wrong direction. But our job as parents, our job as role models, our job as people that are in place to support people in whatever they're going through is to love them unconditionally. And one thing Adrian could always say, he was loved unconditionally.
True.
And but back to reading. Yeah. Your mom used to, not make you. I guess you could say make you, but you had summer assignments.
True.
Of reading 5 books every summer?
At least a few books a summer.
Yes.
But I enjoyed reading. Like those were like the 5 Little Peppers and How They Grew, the 3 Musketeers. Like there were books that all those novels.
And you had to do a report on them, remember? Right? Yeah. Then you had to write little reports.
Yeah. And I passed that on to my kids. I made them read books and then do reports on them. Not even just books. Oh my goodness. What was that? There was the 13th, right? That was on Netflix.
Oh, the movie, yes.
The movie, yeah. I made them watch that and do a report on it. Because you know what it is too. What the report does for me, what it did for me as having to read the books, is it shows, one, that I actually understood what I was reading, that I wasn't cutting corners, but I was actually in depth understanding what was going on. And that's what I wanted for them. Is I didn't want them to passively be watching something and then missing moments. So if I'm telling you that there's going to be a report on it, it forces you to pay attention to the entirety of it. And so yeah, but I'm a fairly well-read individual, which helps me too with like certain things where it's like I have to read publicly or anything like that. I can fly through some.
Yeah, you are.
Teleprompter, I'll be good to go.
You are an amazing reader and a retainer of knowledge. We guys, if you ever have a moment to have a Jeopardy moment with Adrian and sit down, you just walk away feeling not so smart.
No, it's not true. No. I've learned this lesson because all right, let me take a step back, chat. We would have a thing where I'd be at Ron's and we would just watching Jeopardy. It's a competitive thing where I would just get a lot of answers before he did. And so it's funny enough that even now we record it in my house and we'll watch it while we're eating. And so a couple of days ago, we were watching it while we were eating. And Darian, my oldest son, he's 25 now. He was getting some of these answers before me. And I was like, this is what I used to do to Ron. Because you're reading faster than I'm reading.
Yes.
So you're able to get to the answer before I
slow down.
You're not smarter than me. You're just faster reading than me right now.
Faster.
So I started like skipping through and skimming it so I can get the answer out before he could. Because one thing about me is I'm a beat you if I can. I'm
highly competitive.
I am highly competitive.
Highly competitive. And we supported. I mean, we used to go to everything he wanted to. He would play softball. We support it. He go bowling. We support. He wanted to do everything is. He wanted to go out and do all kinds of things, and we support it. But there's one thing that Adrian gave me a book that his mother, I do believe, gave to him. And remember the book with the Pilgrim Progress?
Oh yeah.
Your mother had you do the report on the Pilgrim Progress, and then he told me about the Pilgrim Progress. And then I was like, what's the Pilgrim Progress? And he said, oh, it's this amazing, this is a book about this guy. He's on a journey. He's going through, it's a really beautiful book of faith. And so that is one of my most precious books I have ever read. And I still hold dear to my heart to this day. But that was because his mother, he had to read it, do a report on it, and then we just went in conversation one day. He said, he's like, I think you would like this book, Pop. And I was like, what book? And so I read it, and it's one of my favorite. Then I bought the book, part of the series, and now he has it in his library, which he's trying to look for it. But he has it in his, because I signed. Did I sign in it? Did I write in it? And I gave it to you? Something like that. I wrote in it and gave it to him. And he gave me the whole series of amazing books and chronicles and all kinds of stuff. So, but this is, so I will be.
You have a few. This is what I did find, which is in his steps.
Yeah. So those, I had a lot of books. I had a series of classics. And so Adrian got those classics. So
you gave this to me for Christmas. Because he wrote in it.
See, and I always write in books, as you can tell. I always write in books.
That way he knows I'm not going to give them away.
What time is it? What time is it? It's 12:01.
Oh.
Well, this was, guys, did you enjoy this conversation? This came out of nowhere. We did not plan this. But I'm looking forward to the next chapter. And again, like I said, emotionally and mentally, this packing up this house has been crazy, and to say the least. But it's been also refreshing because I bought this apartment 30 years ago with the intention to sell it when I became a senior citizen or when I was going to retire. I said my apartment would be my retirement. And that was, I had forethought. I'm glad that I had the grace and that the mindset to be able to see in the future that I knew I could not save up for retirement regularly. Because what I realized with my friends, a lot of my friends work for the city. and they're all retired. They've been retired for 10 years. I mean, they got retired, and I ended up working for corporations, and I worked for the exchange, the stock exchange, corporations. And when my friends, when I was younger, were working for the city, I said to myself, I needed a safety net in case things didn't work out. And I really didn't understand that there would not going to be pensions in the future. But as I was, as I was on Wall Street, they were phasing out pensions. And then we went to these 401ks and all that stuff. And I said, so you know what? Let me buy an apartment. And then my mother's boyfriend at the time, he said, the first thing you need to do is buy some property. He said, I know the boys out here hanging out and they're on the corners and they're buying cars and they're buying this and they're buying that. You need to buy a piece of property so they'll always keep you safe. And my apartment has gotten me through 3 recessions, 5 layoffs, and changing of your finances. But having this apartment as collateral has given me advantages that if I didn't have it, I would have been just a statistic. And but also the mindset of saying, I am going to sell this apartment when I become a senior. And I'm a senior now. Social Security kicks in February. My pension will kick in, and this apartment was saved. So I am on my timeline. This is what I bought it for, to execute and sell it. And I will be it's so funny. My buddy, he just retired in December and he's doing way better than when he was working. He's making a lot more money. He's making good money, just not working. But he has a great pension, 2 pensions, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, okay.
And so I said, and so now when I sell this apartment, we'll be almost equal. But then he's like, Ron, but you won't have any debt. But the beauty of it all is that all of us, one of my friends' birthday is today, we all grew up together in Clinton Hill, Fort Greene. And we've all known each other for 40 years, 35 years. We all grew up together. And we all took different paths in how we would become adults. We were like, when we were at our church, growing up at our church that we all went to church at, we were like the breakfast club of that church. We were the young 20-year-olds doing our thing and kind of like fighting our way into our adulthood. And I bought my apartment, and I looked at them and they said, Ron, you're buying an apartment? I was like, yes, I'm buying an apartment. And they were like, you're on Wall Street, you're buying an apartment, you living well, you know. And we all took different paths. But it's so beautiful to see all of us are here together, and we're still friends, and we still have conversations. We still do things together. And I feel so fortunate that I am in this new chapter and beginning a new chapter. And just like I saw when it was time to leave the Container Store, I knew the writing was on the wall. They always, I am a believer that discernment is a major gift that comes from God. And those that are able to have discernment, it is one of the greatest gifts. And because you're able to see things before they happen, or understand things that are going to happen. You don't know how you're going to get there. You just know something's been put in your heart to make decisions based on what that thing is coming. And I have been so blessed in every part of my life in chapters after chapters after chapters. Discernment comes from God. And I am a man of faith, and I will always, I could never create these things by myself. It's definitely not in my mindset to be this smart. But it is because I've surrounded myself with wise people. Even Adrian will tell you, when I was leaving the Container Store, I sat down with he and Kevin and family members, and we all sat down. I said, well, this is what I'm feeling. I am ready. I think it's time to leave the Container Store. And then, because a good discernment, everyone was shared, and I got the okay from a body of people, and now a new chapter is beginning. I remember I was going to sell this apartment in 2008, but my accountant, financial advisor said, nope, I cannot sanction it. And now he's like, oh, it's time to do it. Mm-hmm. So I say that as I close out for today, and Adrian popped on here, and it was so good. This was such anytime we're together, I'm glowing with, I'm just so happy. So I'm going to have a lot of happy times. But I say this, number one lesson, cherish the people that are in your life. You only have them for a season. Our parents, our kids, our loved ones, cousins, we only have each other for a season. Make these moments precious. Use this time to spend time with them, because you never know when the time will end. 2, be prayerful about every decision you make. Be prayerful, and not only prayerful, but reach out to the people around you that love you and that tell you the truth. Because it's one thing for someone to love you, but they don't really love you unless they can tell you the truth in spite of their love for you. They got to tell them. Now, the whole part of the love is telling the truth. And then number 3, I will always say you have to get alone and spend time to just meditate. And I know people are think I'm crazy, but I'm in my private time, I'm cursing with God. In my head. I don't curse out in public. Well, I'm like, God, what the F is going on in my head? And I talk very plain in my prayer to God and have a conversation. And but my meditation time, my time that I can steal away, is when I have my most amazing revelations about life. And so my challenge to you guys as you move forward in life is that you continue to go to God straight as you can. Just be honest with him and just share your heart. Just pour it out. And guess what? You will get answers. You will get answers. They may not be in the time that you think they should be. You're not going to get the answers right away. But in time, the answers will always come. And they will come through many, many sources. But the most important time is his time. Okay, so do you approve, Pastor?
Hey, man, it's funny. I have verses in my mind, but I'm like, I'm just gonna let you cook. Let you cook. Thanks for having me, accepting me when I ring the doorbell, and let me in, and put my whole life out here on your.
Yes, remember it lives here forever on Touch Base on YouTube. But so I do believe people are going to be blessed by this conversation. This was really good, unexpected, unrehearsed, and it was good. Let me just go through some of these. I see you guys in here are chiming in.
I'm gonna leave you with your people.
Okay, but I will talk to you, and hopefully, tomorrow, come pick up some stuff. It's waiting for you. Okay. So, guys, Lisa says, wait, how old are you? SS already? I thought you were only 60. I am 61. I'll be 62 in February. And Elise says, great conversation. Kaz says, blessed Wednesday, like hearing the stories. And I see the hearts from Kimmy Kim. And Elise says, your stories are important. And I see here also, he just said, and the church says. And Kaz says, yes, when it is time to leave, the writing is on the wall. It is. The writing has never. I learned that from an old gentleman on Wall Street. He says, Ron, always look for the writing on the wall. And when I was young, I didn't really understand it until I got older. Elise says, discernment is real. It's real. And Adrian says, in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. That's right. And Mimi says, so true. Elise says, that's a great message, Ron. Elise says, God and I have we have some wild conversations. Hey, who you telling, right, Elise? Kat says, one of my mottos, now one of my parents, is love is truth. And I got you. Elisa says, Pastor the plate. Love equals truth. And Lisa says, pass the plates. Siri is so annoying. So, guys, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining me, and keep me in your prayers as I continue to move forward. And I'm praying for a great price, that someone will bid this apartment up and I can walk away with the number that's in my head that I need to do some things with. And but we're getting closer to it. We're getting closer. I can't believe I cleaned out 50% of my apartment is gone. Like, I've given so much stuff away and trashed so much stuff. And so I continue to do the work. And today is the file cabinet. So I ordered a shredder. So because I had a single shredder, but now I need the cross shredder. So I'm going to use the cross shredder to shred all my files. And then that's in the file cabinet. So I can toss these file cabinets away and get rid of them. And but it's a journey, y'all. It's the journey. Life is about the journey. And that's what makes us happy in the end. Bryson says, Ron, you enjoy Sinners over the weekend. I enjoyed Sinners on Wednesday last week. I went to see Sinners with my buddy, and we had a great time. It was a good movie. So much history woven into every part of the movie. And I won't go into all of them. Kind of, some people haven't seen it yet, but Sinners is worth it. And if you love African American history, and you have read those history books, and you've read encounters about our legacy and our history, it's going to have a lot of meaning to you. This movie called Sinners. She said, Ron, I need the ball caps. You know what? I have Mimi. Are you Mimi? DM me, because I have a whole closet full of baseball caps. Literally, I have about 25, 30 baseball caps. I just threw out yesterday. They were so beat up and so old. I finally let go of my Texan hat. I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm getting rid of my Texas hat. So, but it was so beat up. It was destroyed. So I had to finally let go of it yesterday. And however, I did keep my Brooklyn Dodgers hat, which is still beat up, and I want to keep that one as well. But yeah, I have a closet full of baseball caps and some collectors. So let me know. Slide into my DMs, Mimi, and we can talk about some hats, okay? Because they are in the closet right now, but we can definitely talk about them. Okay. And what else? Bryson says Sinners is coming out on digital on June 3rd, and it will be available on 4K Blu-ray and DVD on July 8th. It's already coming to on digital. What? Wow. Chatty says I caught the end of the conversation. I'm going to go back and listen. And my cousin over here, she says, Cousin Ron, are you moving out of the state? I will be in between New York and New Jersey. And so I'll be hanging out with my brother here as well. And also with Adrian. So I'll be in between two states, but my residence will still be New York. And because of all my benefits and everything is connected to New York, and I don't want to change that. So I'll have everything addressed. I'll have a mailing, and I'll also have a post box and all kind of stuff still here in New York. So that way, logistically, I am able to have all my Social Security and all the stuff that needs to happen all still in New York. And so I will be in New York, but I'll be traveling the world. That's the plan, to travel the world and share the world with you guys. And he says, will do. Yes. Bryson says, it's coming straight to your homes. The movie Sinners. And my cousin says, great. Yep. All the Fosters in the house. The Fosters. Yes. Okay, guys, it is time to let you guys go. It's 12:19. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed this time together. I'm so thankful for Adrian popping on. It was absolutely wonderful. It was a blessing. Like I said, it's always a blessing when we are together, hanging out, spending time, talking, sharing, having great conversations, brainstorming, because we're both cerebral. We're both thinkers. And also, again, like I said, as much as I want to talk about politics, I don't want to talk about politics. and it's because there's really no answer in the political arena. And all I want to do is just kind of enjoy my time with you guys and spend some really good time with you all and just have great conversation. Okay, guys, have a great day. Love you. And I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, wait, I'll see you tomorrow from TikTok. I'll see you tomorrow from TikTok. So it's going to be a little wonky tomorrow, but I will be reaching out to you. Okay. Talk to you tomorrow, and I will see you later. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.